Stary, jest chłopie, pierwsza 20, a ty zaczynasz swoje filozoficzne wywody. Uspokój się, chłopie, na spokojnie, na spokojnie. O, uspokój się.
The group originated in the Trotskyist Fourth International, and Castoriadis and Claude Leffert constituted a Chaulieu-Montal's tendency in the French Party Communist Internationalist in 1946. In 1948, they experienced a final disenchantment with Trotskyism. Leading them to break away to form Socialism ou Barbarie, whose journal began appearing in March 1949. Castoriadis later said this period was the main audience of the group and of the journal was formed by groups of the old radical left. Council communists, some anarchists, and some offspring of the German left in the 1920s. They developed parallel to and were in dialogue with the Johnson Forest tendency, which developed as a body of ideas within American Trotskyist organizations. One faction of this group later formed Facing Reality. The early days also brought debate with Anton Pannekow and an influx of the ex-Bordagists into the group. The group was composed of both intellectuals and workers, and agreed with the idea that the main enemies of society were the bureaucracies which governed modern capitalism. They documented and analysed the struggle against that bureaucracy in the group's journal. The 13th issue, as an example, was devoted to the East German Revolt of June 1953 and the strikes which erupted amongst several sectors of French workers that summer. Following from the belief that what the working class was addressing in the daily struggle was the real content of socialism, the intellectuals encouraged the workers in the group to report on every aspect of their working life. Socialism ou Barbarie was critical of Leninism, rejecting the idea of a revolutionary party, placing an emphasis on the importance of workers' councils. While some members left to form other groups, those remaining became more and more critical of Marxism over time. Jean Laplanche, one of the group's founding members, recalls the early days of the organization. The atmosphere soon became impossible. Castoriadis exerted hegemony over the journal, and a central idea in the mid-1950s was that a Third World War was inevitable. This was very hard for people in the group to stand, to continue alive, while thinking there would be an atomic explosion in a few years' time. The Hungarian Revolution and other events of the mid-1950s led to a further influx into the group. By this time, they were proposing the fundamental point as the necessity of capitalism, on the one hand to reduce workers, simple executors of tasks, and on the other hand in its impossibility to continue functioning if it succeeds in doing so, as of all citizens in relation to politics. This became characterized as a distinction between the dirigeants and exécutantes in French, usually translated as order givers and order takers. This perspective enabled the group to extend its understanding to the new forms of social conflict emerging outside the realm of production as such. That was also the case for the 1960 to 1961 winter general strike in Bologna. The main Socialism and Barbarie journal continued publishing until the final edition in 1965, after which the group became dormant and announced its indefinite suspension in June 1967, an attempt by Castoriadis to revive it during the May 1968 event failed.